in the jails. And if Senator Sachs's statistics are correct, 62% have an addiction disorder. How do we address that so that we don't have to do this fight over and over and over? Education.
Oh, yes.
From the school teacher.
Well,
And the parent.
And the parent.
And the community organizer.
Oh, especially the community organizer. Yeah. Phil, then this lady, then this gentleman.
I looked at that.
My name is Yannick Abela. I'm the Executive Director of India Cultural Family Health Education Center. We call it IFE. We are the Haitian American Health Connection. And I will tell you, it's worse in the Haitian community. Every mental problem is associated with follow. It's very difficult sometimes, to make the parents understand that this is a mental health issue. And education, I think, is the key, but not just information. And that's why we start with the family, then with the community. It's a real problem in the Haitian community. You have those kids that, they become gang members, and you have a husband killing wife is a mental health issue, and I think so we need to do something about it. And what is different in the Haitian community, we have the migration. We have some parents living in Haiti. They send their kids here, you see, with no supervision. They live with a friend or a family member. So the parents are not there for the kids. And it starts, with educating, the community. And apparently, when you come from Florida to New York, because my sister is a director, of a mental health, program outreach. So they get so many help in New York, but here they cannot find any help at all. So it's very, very hard. And I think so we should look at the Haitian community because that will impact anyone of us here because they can shoot you and give you any time. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Maria made a very valid point. Maria made a very valid point in that we need to know what congressmen or legislatures will help the mentally ill, and we need to look at those websites. Dr. Strauss and I were called during Hurricane Katrina to deal with some of the mental issues of the kids and the adults who were caught in that catastrophe. We worked hard. We were going every day to deal with these people, kids that have been traumatized, adults that were demented. They had no identification. But there were some politicians coming around for photo opportunities, and that was it. They didn't roll up their hands or their sleeves. They didn't have to get their hands dirty, but they were looking for the photographers. Maybe Maria was right. Maybe we need to look, because in looking at the political ads that I see today, I don't trust any of them. All I hear is negative commercials about different people. And I don't know who is really willing to roll up the sleeves and help us out. Maybe we need to have a list before we go to the polls to find out who we can really vote for. Because I think Maria has a good idea. But she has a limousine too, that's what we all know about, right? And that doesn't really help us about mental health.
My name is Jack Golden. You've heard from my partner and about our move from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to the state of Florida. We're still in a great deal of shock, as you might imagine. But I wanted to support and re-emphasize and in some ways restate what the young lady has just said, which is another way of restating, I think, the President's message about the importance of education. Clearly, changes have to be made, and the generation that's coming up has to be educated. And the generation that's coming into colleges has to be able to afford colleges. And the people in the legislature have to be educated somehow. And we have to vote in those people who have some interest and capacity to make the hard decisions. That's the only way that change is going to become about. So we all have a lot of work in front of us.
If I may speak again. I have a good story for you.
In Massachusetts, the managed care community, you know, Blue Cross Blue Shield and all the rest, have abandoned treatment for addiction. Now, this has been going on for at least 10 years or more. If you want good and basically private substance abuse treatment, you have to go out of state. And one of the best places is here in Miami. And I'm sorry, the name slips my mind, but it's one of the only places in the country where you can get not only dual diagnosis treatment for women, substance abuse, alcohol, drug, and eating disorder treatment. And it's in Miami, and it's half price of some of the other places in the country. So it runs about $7,000 instead of $15,000 a month, which is incredible. And I, being a social worker in private practice, have to help people get substance abuse treatment, and have sent 2 girls to Florida, and they've done very, very well. So, something to be proud of here.
And it is true, we do have some nice places and people and skillful folks in this state that just kind of are diluted out in terms of the geography.
Thank you. Professor Ross.
Hi, my name is Rose Madeline. This is my son, Ross. I'm 65 years old, and I've been fighting for Ross since he was a child. He went to the first psychiatrist when he was 4 years old. When I tried to get him into the school system, I had to fight ignorance like you would not believe. He went to 3 private schools because I could not get him into the school system. It is still a horror story, and I'm angry, and I have memories of the fight that I had at school in Palm Beach County with teachers, with principals, and other people. And I am angry, and I am upset, and I'm hurting. I'm hurting for Ross tonight. I'm hurting for everyone who's had to encounter this. But I don't know how you reach people. I know I heard things like enabling. I heard things like a dysfunctional family. So I think it becomes, I think a lot of politicians feel like it's a personal thing within the family and hands off, let's brush it under the rug, we don't want to hear about it because it is a family thing, and let's not touch that. Thank you.
As I'm walking over, and just to let you know, I am a psychiatrist, and I was at a meeting 2 or 3 weeks ago, and a guy named Alan Schatzberg, who is one of the foremost researchers in the United States on new psychiatric medications, gave a very frightening talk in which he says that virtually, it's not zero, but virtually is no money going into research for new psychiatric medications. And the reason being is there's not enough profit margin, anticipated profit margin. So this may be it for about a decade or so. It costs $1.7 billion on the average from the time somebody gets an idea of a molecule until it hits the pharmacy shelves. And you know, we could spend 1,000 hours talking about this and that and so on and so on. Well, the tools that we have are very good. They're very good, but they're not where we want to be yet. And what is driving this is purely the profit, anticipated profit by the pharmaceutical industries. They're spending their money on infectious disease and cancer and stuff like that. That's also important. It's truly also important. But you know, where's that core, basic, what we call wet bench? People pouring things in and out of test tubes, wet bench, wet bench research, and that again, profit.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to steal the microphone real quick, and I'm going to stand up and come around here because Rita reminded me, and I did almost forget, that I'm a student, I'm a college student, and I was going to not say anything, which is a hat that I don't usually wear at these meetings, but I was going to try it out, but you know, it didn't work. Rita clearly communicated, the not talking doesn't work. And I just wrote a dissertation about this in school very recently, so hopefully it'll be a little fresh in my mind. I personally believe that there's one solution because I don't believe in handing problems over to people and telling them to deal with it. and then just trusting that they'll deal with it and hope that they get back to us in a few years and the problem will be solved. I think that if you start with, I'd like to start with kindergartners, but they're a little touchy about us talking to kindergartners. If you started with high school students and you gave them an opportunity even once a year, and I know that the opportunities are there more often. I know that you could, we had fire drills once a week, we never had a fire. I mean, so I know that the opportunities are there, the time is there to take 15 minutes every day. It's not a theory, it's not a concept, the time is there. We don't have to make it, the time is already there. We put kids in school for 7 hours a day, we give them 2 hours of college algebra. We've got 15 minutes to put kids in a room and have an unmoderated discussion. And if you put a bunch of people in a room and have an unmoderated discussion, stuff will get talked about and stuff will get done. Just like, you know, in the room that we're in now. And I really do believe that if we gave kids, high school students, the opportunity to talk to one another, if somebody said, "How are you feeling today?" Talk about it. And nobody interrupted them. And nobody said, "Don't say that." And nobody said, "Don't say the word suicide." Nobody said, "Don't talk about your parents." Nobody said, "Don't talk about the fact that you're gay." Nobody said anything. We don't have to blame teachers. We don't have to put it on them. We don't have to put it on the principal. Give it to the students. Give them 15 minutes in a room full of people that we force them to be with every day for 300, the number eludes me, but a large number of days in 4 years of high school. We force them to be with these people every day of their lives. Give them 15 minutes to talk to one another, and we'll see what they say. I really do believe that. And more importantly, I personally believe that it looks bad. You know, it has a lot of definitions, but it looks bad. It looks bad to say I'm crazy. And I woke up today and I couldn't take a shower because I was too busy crying. And I tried to leave the house, but I cried again, and I had a nervous breakdown. But if we all talk about it enough, like cancer didn't look very good either. The first clinic that offered help for postpartum depression opened up in 1962. Nothing looks good until you show somebody that it doesn't look that bad. So the fact of the matter is it looks bad, and all these kids keep getting taught that it looks bad, and all the media tells them that it looks bad because the man who gunned down somebody at an ATM had borderline personality disorder, and that's why he did it. And the woman who put her child in a microwave had borderline personality disorder, and that's why she did it. So it looks bad now. But if we show them that it doesn't look that bad, by not trying to create like a halo for it, not trying to create a venue for it, just showing everybody that if everybody knew each other's secrets, we'd feel a lot more differently about how we address these things. And I'll stop talking now, but as a student, there really is no place for discussions like this in my school, on my campus, whatsoever. And I know that that's not special. I know that that's the way it is everywhere else. So I think that's where it should start. I think aside from everything else, if we can't find the money and we can't find, you know, the people who care, we can find the time in 7.5 hours a day to let students talk about it.
Thank you.